Hello, I'm Suzanne Jackson, a student in the social media class here at Washington University, and I'm doing my final project on an online website called Goodreads. What is Goodreads? Well, it's a social media tool that's similar to Facebook, except it deals exclusively with books. It's a good way to get recommendations. It's a good way to see what your friends are reading. As a librarian, I find it very helpful because when I went to go look for young adult literature, it's nice to get the reviews on readers from that age as opposed to readers that are more part of my peer group, to actually get what the kids think. And one of the things I always do with my relatives and my friends' kids is I ask them, hey, what are you reading? Do you like that book? What are your thoughts on that? What do you want to read next? Well, instead of having to do that when I might only see them once or twice a year, I can be friends with them on Goodreads and get their feedback all the time on what they're reading and what's popular and what the kids are liking and doing these days. But the best way to show you about Goodreads is to go into the site and show you around, and it's www.goodreads.com. As you can see, right as you get in, it says meet your next favorite book, and that's truly what this is about, is finding new books to read. For those of you who just like one key to log in, you can sign in using Facebook, Twitter, or Google and use that site, and then of course it'll tie in and try to find your friends that are also on Facebook, Twitter, or Google to be friends on Goodreads. So I'll just go up here to the top. My username is already in there, and I'll just type in my password and enter. And it takes me immediately to my homepage where I can see what it shows that I'm currently reading, as well as kind of a status or a feed like we have in Facebook, where you can see what your friends are doing on Goodreads. I'm just going to scroll through my status here and see kind of what everyone's doing so you can kind of get a look. Back up at the top of the screen, if I click the little button next to my image, I can get all of my account information and kind of look at my settings. See from here I can edit my profile, look at who my friends are, get help, or just log out from here. Let's just look at my friends feed as opposed to my whole status feed. Let me just look at a list of my friends. Over my list of friends, I'm going to pick the first one that has over 100 books, Suzanne Rusin, and take a look at her profile. Scrolling through Suzanne's profile, I can see some information about her, the books that she's favorited, her and her bookshelves, and then I can scroll down and see what it shows that she's currently reading. And here we see the two books that Suzanne is currently showing reading, but she changed this both back in November of 2010, so I doubt these are the books that she's still currently reading. And that's a good example of your friends can use it and your friends cannot use it, just like a MySpace or my Facebook. It's only as good as the people who are out there using it. So I'll scroll back up to the top and click on Home to go back to my home page. One of the great things about Goodreads is the groups function. You can go in there and find people with similar tastes and get ideas of what to read next. Or you can look at them like they are an online book club. And some groups work all different ways, so you just have to kind of go in there and see what you like. So let's look at the groups. So I'm going to look for some young adult stuff, and what's currently popular in young adult fiction is dystopian literature. So I'm going to type in the word dystopian to kind of see what groups are out there. You can see most of the books under dystopian do deal with young adult literature. YA Dystopia. That looks like a good group. It seems like it's active, has activity in the last day, but it's a small group relatively and only has 140 members, so maybe I will check that out. So you're taken to the home page of the group where you can click to join the group right there on the Join Group tab. It asks to verify what kind of email settings I want. Because I don't know how active the group is, I'll start out with Digest, and if it doesn't seem that active, then I'll go to individual emails, but I don't want something clogging my email box. After I hit confirmed, I'm taken back to the home page of the group, and it says that I've successfully joined the group. Going back to our search results again, I want to look at the bigger group, which is YA apocalyptic and dystopian fiction, and see what that group is about. So looking over their homepage, we can see what this online book group is currently reading, how often their discussions are, and other information about the group. I believe the group looks interesting. I will go ahead and select Join the Group. Back to the home page of the group where I'm given the message that I've successfully joined the group, and if I want to edit my settings, I can go into the edit link to change those settings. Well, I've talked about reviewers. I guess I should show you how to actually do a book review. And these are key because once you get so many reviews out there, you get recommendations for similar books that are like books that you like. And as well as when you go into a book review, you can choose whether or not you want to connect with an author, which is great if it's one of your favorite authors. You can keep up with what's going on, what is he or she going to be writing soon, what book tours might be coming to your town, author visits, things like that, and just maybe some insight into the author itself. So these are two great things about, and actually the key to me, the key components are the book reviews, to get that feedback from your friends or for your friends to get your feedback. So let's look at how to do a book review. So here on my Goodreads homepage, you can see that I have already rated 8 books, and once I've rated 20 books, they'll start giving me recommendations. They don't want to put in recommendations for the first 2 you like because they may be 2 odd books that you read or something like that. So it's not until you get 20 books that they'll start giving you reviews. Then I'm going to go up here to the top of the page where you can enter the title or the ISBN. You can't enter the author, but there's authors with similar names, and I'm going to, for my example, enter an ISBN because there are books with similar names. Because in my example, I am going to review Hunger, which is the second book in the Gone series, which is a young adult dystopian. And I'm sure if I put in Hunger, because of the popularity of the Hunger Games, there's going to be all kinds of different stuff come up that I don't want. And if you enter the ISBN, you're always going to get the book that you want. So I entered the 10-digit ISBN for the Hunger book. It gives me a suggestion, and as you can see, the ISBN number it lists is the 13-digit as opposed to the 10-digit ISBN number that I entered. Once I select that book, it will take me to that book's home page, and I can, if this isn't a book I hadn't read, I can read about the book, some descriptions. I can go down further and read reviews, but this is a book I've read and a book I want to review. So the first thing I want to do is change it from there it might default want to read, change it to read. And once I change it to read, it automatically takes me to the review page. And you could always just enter the minimum, which is the star rating, and enter it on a base of 1 to 5 stars, with 5 stars being the best rating. I could enter tags in there besides just my read. That will help me also sort these things, but I'm not going to do this at this time. I'm just basically going to go down to the what do you think and paste in the text of my review. To ask me for the date that I finished the book. I don't remember the exact date, but it was in November of this year. I read the whole series in a few weeks. The end of October, beginning of November. At this point, I'm ready to save and post this to my profile, and I can also then say whether I want to update my feed, which will then show in my friends' feeds. If they're looking at that, it'll say that I have reviewed this book, and that's optional. Once I've saved it, it takes me back to the main page of this book, and I can see my friend Left Bank Books has also added this book and has reviewed that book. So I might want to take a look at it and see what they thought, to see if I'm out in left field or not. So that is something you can do, or you can read other people's recommendations and see if they had similar thoughts to you. I usually don't read other people's reviews before I review a book, just because I don't want them tainting my ideas. I might change my mind on what I think based on what somebody else read, or I might end up using the same verbiage or something like that. And now up at the top of the page for this particular book, I can see the author is a Goodreads author, as it says there, which means that he has a page on Goodreads. So I can click on his name and actually be taken to his page. From his homepage, I can see that he has a Facebook page. He also has a Twitter username and the phase, and actually that kind of links back to his Gone series, so I don't know if his Twitter feed is specific to those books. But because I know that I like him, I could go over here and click Become a Fan and actually start to follow his updates. So that is a brief overview of Goodreads. There's a ton of stuff that you can do with this. You could take a half-hour, 45-minute, hour webinar covering all the great things that you can do with this. I hope you will check it out, and if you do, please friend me on Goodreads. Thanks!